Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing M&B Bannerlord, specifically the Realm of Thrones Total Conversion mod for the game, and we're going to be going over 6 unique Westerosi armors. So we've already covered some armors from this mod, specifically 7 of the primary ones from Westeros, and then we did some from Essos as well. This one is going to be the more unique armors from Westeros, so maybe after a specific settlement or a really specific house, so they won't be nearly as iconic as the show, but they do look very cool, and some of them will still be pretty iconic. So we're just going to be going through them like we always do. We'll cover the pieces that make up the suits of armor. If they are all labeled in the mod, so if they've got one for the helmet, cape, armor, gloves, and boots, I will just use all the ones that they have. If not, I'll fill in the blanks. So like if they're missing the neck armor, I'll fill in the neck armor with what I think looks good and obviously fits with the type of armor that they've got. So with all that in mind, let's just get it started, and we'll be doing number 6 first. And these are not rated based on appearance, they're rated based on the AAR or the average armor rating. So after I put each suit of armor together, I then calculated their total armor value and figured out which suits of armor were the best, and that's how I rated them. They're not rated based on appearance. So let's start off with number 6. And at number 6, we've got the Kingsguard armor. It's definitely highly recognizable by most people, whether they've seen the show or just read descriptions. This is actually one of the things I always had beef with in the show, because when I read the books, to me, I thought they were always describing the Kingsguard as having white armor. Not gold armor with white accents, but having actual white armor, so it was enameled white plate armor. That's the way I always visualized it, and in all the concept art I've seen from the books, that's the way it was. So I never liked the fact that the show made the Baratheon and then later the Lannister Kingsguard armor to be gold with the little white enameled accents, and then in the flashback to the Targaryen time, when we definitely know it was supposed to be white, then it's just like silver steel. I never liked that from the show, and they definitely followed that in the mod. I would have preferred if the mod went with the white enameled plate armor that I pictured from the books, and that I assume most people pictured, considering there were a lot of descriptions of it. But with all that being said, it still does look pretty cool, and the mod did a great job of imitating the look of it from the show. And so this one is one where every piece was actually in the mod, so I didn't have to fill in any blanks. We have the Kingsguard helmet for 36 head armor, the Kingsguard cape for 10 body armor, the Kingsguard armor for 40 body armor, 12 leg armor, and 12 arm armor, the Kingsguard gloves for 20 arm armor, and the Kingsguard boots for 21 leg armor. So like I said, full suit of armor, I didn't have to fill anything in. I think the gloves are a little weird because they just look like regular leather gloves. I think that's a weird aesthetic choice. I would have gone with probably a more armored gold gauntlet to, match the rest of the suit. But all in all, I think it looks pretty good. They do a great job. It looks like they based it on Jaime Lannister's suit of Kingsguard armor, because the padded gamson or tunic or whatever underneath is the one that I think Jaime Lannister wears in the show. Either that or they all wear it and I just didn't notice. But whatever the case is, they did a great job of modeling it. It looks exactly like the Kingsguard armor from the show, and it does look pretty good in general. Plus the stats on it are pretty solid. It takes the number 6 spot, but remember the suits of armor on this list are all pretty good. That being said, the AAR or average armor rating for the Kingsguard armor is 37.75, and it has a weight of 17 kilograms. So not too ridiculously heavy, and the armor value is of course not as high as it could be, but still higher than a lot of suits of armor in the game. So that's number 6, the Kingsguard armor. Let's move on to number 5. Alright, at number 5, we've got the Bolton armor. So this is the iconic armor from the show from House Bolton. We see it mostly in the Battle of the Bastards, but you see it a couple other times, just not nearly as much of it all at once. This one is I wouldn't even say that. It's about half and half. So in the mod, we have the Bolton Sallet, the Bolton armor, and the Bolton boots. I added the gloves and the neck armor. But all in all, I think I was able to do a good job matching the aesthetic, because I think it looks pretty dang solid the way I've got it put together. So for those pieces, we've got the Bolton Sallet for the head armor, which gives you 38 armor, the Karstark Gorget, which gives you 8 head armor and 14 body armor, the Bolton armor, which gives you 42 body armor, 9 leg armor, and 9 arm armor, the Northern gloves, which give you 21 arm armor, and the Bolton boots, which give you 20 leg armor. So like I said, only 3 of these pieces are designed specifically for the Bolton layout, or for the Bolton armor, and the rest I filled in, but I think they look good. I think the Gorget makes sense, considering the Sallet only covers the top half of the head, and that leaves a huge part of it exposed. They had 2 Bolton helmets in the game, and I actually like the way the other one looks better, but this one had a better armor value, so that's why I went with this one. But I do think the Gorget pairs rather well with it, and it doesn't clip with the armor, so I think it looks great there. And then again, the Northern gloves are the same type of thing. They are the same color, and they fit, and and other factions from the north wear them, so it makes basic sense to me. The overall stats of this suit of armor are slightly better than the Kingsguard armor. We have an AAR, or average armor rating, of 40.25, so a couple points higher than the Kingsguard armor, and a weight of 16.6, so actually a little bit lighter. So all in all, if you want to dress up like a Bolton, which, you know, I can't get into that headspace, but I don't judge you for maybe wanting to do it, then this suit of armor works rather well. And of course you can pair the Bolton shield and the Bolton spear with that, and then I just paired a northern sword for the weapons. So I think it looks great, very unique, and definitely very Bolton, but that's number 5. Let's move on to number 4. All right, at number 4, we've got quite possibly the worst looking suit of armor in this video, but it doesn't look absolutely atrocious, and it is very unique. So this one is the Karstark armor, and you'd recognize it from the TV show as that worn by Rickard Karstark and the other Karstarks in general. It's got their sunburst on it. As for the pieces that make up the suit of armor, 4 of them were designed and labeled specifically in the mod as Karstark, and then I just filled in the blanks. So this suit is made up of the Karstark coif, which gives you 31 head armor and 5 body armor, the Karstark gorget, which gives you 8 head armor and 14 body armor, the Karstark lord armor, which gives you 42 body armor, 10 leg armor, and 10 armor, the northern gloves, which give you 21 armor, and now these are ones that aren't labeled specifically for Karstark, but much like the Bolton ones, I decided to use the northern gloves just because it makes sense. And then we have the Karstark boots, which give you 21 leg armor. So this armor is not too terrifically good, and like I said, I don't like the way it looks. It fits so loose. It would be better if it had a slightly more tailored look to it, and it doesn't look good on the male model either, so it's not just the female model. I also think the gorget and the male coif combo is a little weird. It wouldn't be so weird if the male coif fit under, because if you were wearing this exact outfit, the male you would put on underneath the outer gambeson or jupon or whatever this is on the outside, and the gorget would go on top of that, because then ideally you'd have a helmet on top of the coif. So it's weird for the gorget to be underneath the male coif. That throws me a little bit. But this was the combination that allowed me to fill the most slots with Karstark armor. So with all that being said, the overall stats for the Karstark armor are an AAR, or average armor rating, of 40.5, so just slightly better than the Bolton armor, and a weight of 15.6, so slightly lighter. So it's a little bit lighter, and it has a little bit better armor value than the Bolton armor. But yeah, that is number 4, the Karstark armor. Let's move on to number 3. All right. At number 3, we've got the Mormont armor, so yet another faction from the north. You might notice that a lot of your the northern faction has a lot of subgenres of armor, and I like that because the north is probably one of, if not my absolute favorite factions in the whole series. But anyway, this suit of armor is entirely made up of Mormont pieces, so I didn't have to fill in any blanks here. The suit of armor is made up of the Mormont Lord helmet, which gives you 44 head armor, the Mormont pauldrons, which give you 15 body and 9 arm armor, the Mormont armor, which gives you 41 body armor, 11 leg armor, and 10 arm armor, the Mormont bracers, which give you 22 arm armor, and the Mormont boots, which give you 22 leg armor. So very solid stats all the way around, and like I said, I didn't have to fill in any blanks. And again, I paired it with the Mormont shield and a Morning Star. But very cool. I think this armor looks really good. Obviously, it's mostly based off of Jorah's torso piece from the TV show, at least in the early ones. And then the rest of it seems to just be an attempt to match that. Only beef I have with it is that the shoulder armor clips weirdly with the torso armor. You'd think since they're designed to go together, the clipping wouldn't be an issue. But I do really like the way this one looks. It's very unique, but also very cool. So, big fan of it. The total stats for the Mormont armor are an AAR, or average armor rating, of 43.5 and a weight of 20.9. So it's got the highest AAR so far, which makes sense given that it's the highest spot so far, but it also has the highest weight, so it is pretty heavy. That being said, like I said, it is one of my favorite looking suits of armor. I love the helmet. The torso armor would be great if it weren't for all the clipping. It clips with the legs and the arms, and I just love the uniqueness of the whole feel. So the Mormont armor takes the number 3 spot, but it's one of my personal favorite ones in the mod. At number 2, our runner-up, we have the House Manderly armor, and so these are it's the ruling house of White Harbor in the north, the only major city in the north, and also the Manderlys being some of the most famously loyal bannermen to the Starks, and that leads to one of my favorite storylines in the books. I won't spoil it here. The Manderlys don't really do a whole lot in the show, but in the books, they're a huge part, especially later on. So definitely recommend reading the books, if for nothing else than to learn about the Manderlys, because they've got some real interesting stuff going on. In any case, this suit of armor is 3 of the pieces are labeled as Manderly pieces, and I filled in the other pieces to try to match it, and I think I did a good job because I think it looks pretty good. But the pieces are the House Manderly helmet, which gives you 40 head armor. I added the Karstark gorget because there wasn't a neck piece of armor for the House Manderly armor, and this gives you 8 head armor and 14 body armor. Then we have the House Manderly armor, which gives you 50 body armor, 12 leg armor, and 14 arm armor. Then the House Manderly bracers, which give you 24 arm armor, and then I added the Casterly Rock bracers too, which give you 26 leg armor. Obviously, they're not thematically connected. It's not like they make sense considering that's the Westerlands and the sworn enemies of the North, and this is White Harbor, where the Manderlys come from. So, well, not originally. Originally, they come from the Reach. But anyway, not important. The reason I added these on here is just because I think they match the armor style the best. What I would prefer is if, you know, like I said, with any suit of armor I've covered for this mod so far, if the mod author would just add in a neck piece and some boots, specifically for the Manderly. Total stats for this suit of armor are an AAR, or average armor rating, of 47, so a nice big jump over the Mormont armor. Very, very strong armor here. And a weight of 19.6, so a little bit lighter than the Mormont armor. So better armor value and lighter, and like I said, I really like the way it looks. It's got a classic high medieval plate armor with a sort of decorated tabard over top of it for their house sigil. I just really like the uniqueness of it and the comprehensive feel of the plate. I also like that instead of showing mail on the side, it's got a sort of a plate or a plate scale sort of look to it, and I like that too. So yes, the Manderly armor is very cool looking, and it takes the number 2 spot on this list. Finally, at number 1, we've got probably the coolest looking armor in the mod, or at least the coolest stuff that I've found so far. We have the Casterly Rock armor, and there are actually 2 varieties of this. There's this one and then the Casterly Rock 2. Basically, this one is gold and I guess, I don't know, purple or maroon or whatever you'd call that color, and then the other one is more silver. So both of them are very cool, but I chose this one because it's just a bit more unique, and it's kind of what I picture Jaime Lannister wearing, except for the helmet. The helmet looks a little too, I don't know, Warhammer sort of vibe to it. It doesn't really fit the high medieval fantasy vibe of the rest of the game or the series, in my opinion. But in any case, the suit of armor does look very cool, has great protection, and it's entirely made up of named pieces, so I didn't have to fill in any blanks, which I always love. And this suit is made up of the Casterly Rock helmet, which gives you 42 head armor, the Casterly Rock pauldrons, which give you 16 body armor and 8 arm armor, the Casterly Rock armor, which gives you 50 body armor, 12 leg armor, and 14 arm armor, the Casterly Rock bracers, which give you 24 arm armor, and the Casterly Rock boots, which give you 26 leg armor. So very, very good stats all the way around. Like I said, extremely well-made armor. It looks super good. The model doesn't clip at all. No part of it clips, and it just looks really intricate. It fits really well. It doesn't fit janky or anything. It's a very well-done suit of armor, so I have to love it for all of the technical reasons as well as the aesthetic reasons of it just being a really cool-looking suit of armor. And on top of all of those reasons, it also has the best stats. So this one has an AAR, or average armor rating, of 48, so nice and high, much higher than most of the suits of armor in the game in general, but the highest one on this list as well. It also has a weight of 19.5, so it's even lighter than the House Manderly armor, so it's certainly not the lightest on the list, but it's right in the middle. It's the third heaviest or the third lightest, depending on how pessimistic or optimistic you are. And like I said, I love the way it looks. Typically, I'm not one to go with the more colorful and exotic looking armors, but they did a great job with this one, and I think it looks amazing. Arguably, like I said, because the helmet bothers me as much as it does, I think it looks better without the helmet. But that being said, the helmet still looks cool enough that I don't mind wearing it. So that is all 6 of our unique Westerosi armors that I want to show today. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Kudos to the mod authors for coming up with really, really good looking stuff and implementing it well into the game. Did a great job on that, I think. Obviously, there's area for improvement. Typically, I would like each suit of armor to actually have all 5 pieces, you know, named and labeled so that it's exactly for that suit of armor. And in the case of the Mormont armor, which I love, obviously the clipping is an issue. But other than all of that, great armor, looks awesome. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you try out the mod. The link's in the description as always. But that's all for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.